Ladies and gentlemen, all rise for the RanKing's court.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the greatest spectacle around the internet on Tuesday nights at 6:30 p.m. This is the RanKing's Court. Always, I am Austin Morad, your Rank King, and we have always in the studio our producer, Votash, and Noble Knight Greg, also known as Vote as the Oracle. Thought I'd slip it for a second, but I didn't. And for the first time in RanKing's Court history, we not only have one, but two. That's right, count them. We had our two show a couple of how many days? I don't know, weeks, months. Time is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. We have two guests on the show tonight. Ladies, please introduce yourselves. Whichever one wants to go first.
You are a horrible host, Jesus.
We missed the Rap King.
Yeah.
Shut up. This is my girlfriend, Bree. And then we have our other guest.
Hi.
So her name is not Hi. This is Gabby.
No, it's not. My name is Gabby. I'm Austin's potentially future sister-in-law. I guess that's still up for debate until it happens, but
There you go. She put you on the spot.
pretty good.
There you go. She put you on the spot on the show.
Ian needs to get his shit together, apparently.
The millions of viewers watching this now.
Yeah, really. Also, Austin, how dare you not introduce your girlfriend as the Rank Queen, by the way? Like, that is apropos on your part.
Like, give her the crown.
Yeah. What's wrong
I
with
talked
you?
about, like, her wearing the cape. It's too hot.
She's going to take the crown.
Not wearing my crown.
She's going to take it by the end of the show, I guarantee it.
But I'm sorry.
Very possessive.
Yeah, we can see.
This thing's hard to take off once it's glued to your head.
It is glued. We can't confirm. We saw him do the process of gluing it, yeah.
But let's talk about a little bit for tonight's show, guys. First of all, obviously, you two are located in the studio.
Yes, we are.
So please tell us what this lovely program is dealt with because of the studio.
Well, first of all, I'm just going to point out here, too, it's very rude on him to not even bring up last week's excellent show.
I'm getting after
getting
this.
there.
But I did want it to bring that up real quick. But RanKing's Court is live today from Union Fitness Studios, located on the North Shore of Pittsburgh. Union Fitness is more than a traditional gym. It's a place where you can transform yourself inside and out. With a variety of classes based around fitness, yoga, strength, and performance training. At Union Fitness, they believe that is their duty to hold themselves and their clients to a higher standard. They practice what they preach and uphold the values that make Union Fitness the community that it is. Go to unionfitness.com today to sign up for a consultation. Through Union, there is strength.
I had to do it this way because I didn't,
Yeah,
there
there you go. There you
Better
go.
late than never.
Exactly. At least you know where to put your hands. That's good.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Before we move on to talk about last week's show, we have a commenter in the chat. Denny Shrek did it 420. Welcome as always, donating 100 bits, saying Austin has zero manners to think he was a gentleman.
When was he ever a gentleman? See, even Bree confirms it, so I don't know. Clearly, this was never an apparent thing.
What do you want? I'm as good as I
I
can be.
roasted you. They are roasting you. I feel
no,
like
this is-
that's usually
That's,
my
that's
job.
this is what the show's about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
This is-
okay.
this is
He's not a benevolent king, so therefore we have to like keep him in his place sometimes.
So true.
I try. But
We
Fellas.
fail a lot.
obviously, I had to take an absence from last week. The Taco Bell hit me pretty hard, as
I
you, as you
believe it.
said.
I was gonna say you
Yeah.
were on you decided to give yourself a nice royal sabbatical for the week is how we
Yeah.
spun it. Yeah, which was much needed because we all saw what you ate, bud.
Yeah, did you see that episode, Gabby, or hear anything about it?
That just sounds like something Austin would have happen to him if it wasn't Taco Bell. It was going to be Arby's.
Yeah.
No.
Bree, can you confirm the aftermath of what occurred from this as well? Because we all we saw was him get in his car and head out, and then after that it was nothing. It was radio silence.
Yeah, he was on the couch for most of the night, and then like our fridge is just like overflowing with Taco Bell, and he's like, I don't want to see this thing for like the next year. And so then I got stuck eating some of the leftover Taco Bell, which
Don't
was
act like you got stuck with it.
I-
I got you your chicken power bowl. Thank you.
with soggy lettuce.
Yeah, very true. It's always the worst. A quick thing though to that. Your boy tried the Mexican pizza.
That was going to
Really?
be my next question.
I went out and got it.
How was it?
Okay. It was okay.
Just
Ooh.
okay.
So it's
Wow.
not so it's not top 10 worthy, is what you're saying.
No, and the problem is that it wasn't cut properly. That was the thing that really like set me through a loop with it. Like the one time I would pick up like a little piece, and then the next one it would be like this ginormous like half that's like sliding off my hand. So obviously proportion sides come into play. Lot more bean than I remember. A lot more bean. And that's kind of what I mostly tasted was bean with a little bit of red sauce.
With one little strand of rice, one little
Yeah,
grain
basically.
of rice.
Shut up.
Hey,
It was
wait.
supposed to the one item that I was supposed to get was supposed to be beans and rice, and it was literally an entire like little thing of black beans with one piece of rice.
One.
Oh, we're on the hype train.
Hey,
We appreciate that.
Oh,
All right, so wait, Austin. So where do you put the Mexican pizza in your ranking now? Because we're gonna keep this as like a recurring, updated list now. Apparently, we're still trying to see if you're gonna get on the Taco Bell breakfast now.
well, let's take a minute for my diet to reform itself now. Thank you very much.
In
That
2
really
weeks, it should have been fine by now.
threw me through a loop, man.
You know, like on SpongeBob where they have a thing on the wall that says so many days since there was an accident.
Yeah.
You need one that's like so many days since you ate Taco Bell.
It
Or
should
got
be a
sick.
thing.
Well, actually, in all seriousness, it should have been how many days since he had an accident after the Taco Bell and
Okay,
Yeah.
well now Greg's banned. So I will say that would make it 23 items. I think I would put it maybe, honestly, probably like 14 or 15.
Yikes.
I know, and that's the thing. Like, I really loved the Mexican pizza growing up, and the I don't know. It has been a long time since someone has technically made a Mexican pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're out of practice. Maybe I wait a little bit. Maybe I try it again. Maybe it rises. But for now, at 14 and 15, I would put it around there.
Fair
But-
enough.
But we got it, man. So please indulge me on last week's episode because, like I said, I was recuperating, and you had recuperating. Yes, I know. Thank you.
I feel like your significant half is disagreeing with that.
True. So you had on not the Rank King, but the Rap King, which
Yes.
I tuned into the episode. I was floored. I loved it. You guys did a really good job in my absence, and
Hey, thanks.
we try, you know. we try.
The Rap King did a great job.
Yes.
yes, and like I said, Foreigner is a wonderful, wonderful host. Although he said he was nervous at the very beginning, that man, as soon as he's on the camera, he knows how to click.
He
with
had
the
some he had some hesitancy at first because he wasn't used to like being the focal point. Thankfully, I think we did a good job trying to help him like get comfortable.
More conversational.
Yeah,
and
kinda-
we eased them in there.
Yeah, got him used to it. Like it's not like he's foreign to the concept of being on camera or anything like that. But yeah, he held his own. We would welcome him back any other time that you decide to take another sabbatical from God knows what you eat. So
Yeah, and he actually ranked the top 10 rappers. So we'll pull the graphic up here.
Yeah, please, because I glanced at it.
Yeah.
I wanted to write something. Obviously, I didn't have much internet connection today, so I couldn't. But I'm
Blaming the
very
internet.
curious.
Northern Pittsburgh, I tell you what. No, Northern Pennsylvania, excuse me, not Northern Pittsburgh. I apologize.
It's one of the two. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Places and time are relevant. So, from what I'm reading here for the top 10 rappers, we got Nicki Minaj at 10, Royce da 5'9" at 9, which is
Yep.
an interesting one, I
Yep.
have to say.
You have to remember too, Foreigner does have he's a little bit older than us, so he has
Yeah.
a little bit more of a diverse mindset than probably we do.
Old, wiser taste, which
Yes.
I do appreciate.
Yes, a much wiser taste, if you will.
However, Greg, I know this has got to get you in some roiled up in some type of way. Kendrick at 8. How do you feel about that?
I'm just happy you had him on the top 10. I'm thrilled.
He did specify it's his list.
Yes,
He was nice with it though.
Yes.
He wasn't
we
rude
respect
or
it.
anything.
We respect it.
He's like,
Unlike some
"Guys,
people.
This is my bias list. Like whatever you say
on
is
now.
okay, but mine's right.
Yeah, he warned us ahead of time, and we appreciated that. It's not like someone just smacking us in the face from the get-go with his list.
Why do you make all right, whatever. This is the one thing that I'm interested in because I love J. Cole being up high. I think Eminem around the top 3 is doable. I can deal with that. Nas is a good choice. Like when people always talk about the two big, I want to say gods of rap, I guess I should say, they always specify it is either Tupac or Biggie. So it's interesting to see that Tupac is number 1 and Biggie is 7.
I'm not gonna lie. What threw me off from his list, first off, J. Cole at 2 floored me. Floored me.
Oh, yeah.
I love J. Cole, but that just floored the hell out of me that he had him that high. But yeah, he did point out that I think Biggie and Tupac, like they had such a short run too, but they were so culturally impactful that's why he had to put them that high. But if you think about it, I think Tupac's songs were better than Biggie in the long run.
Oh, when it comes to the two, I would put Tupac over Biggie.
Yeah.
But it's the conversation of does Biggie belong
Higher than 7.
higher on the list? I would say maybe in the top 3.
That's fair. That's fair. But then again, I mean, like we said, the Rap King made it apparent that it's his opinion, so we are accepting it.
I don't hate it. Like I said, it's go ahead, Gab. Sorry.
It's a super mature take to be like, oh, he put Kendrick at 8 because that's his opinion. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was sitting there, I was like, okay. I also like J. Cole, but number 2 is really high.
He's a huge J. Cole fan.
He is very, very big, which is surprising. I would have expected maybe a little bit much. I would have expected Nas higher because of that, but go figure.
But hey, the rankings back. I almost said Rap King. The rankings
I mean, we
back.
prefer the Rap King, but yeah.
And what do you have for us tonight, Austin?
Well, it is no shocker that because we have our 2 guests on here tonight, tonight's episode is going to be centered all about the wonderful human being known as Harry Styles. Now, you 2 can talk right now about your feelings for Harry Styles because Brie actually was the one that got me into Harry Styles. I wasn't much of a fan growing up, she was in the One Direction phase. Gabby, I'm sure you're the same way. And I just kind of consider them as like your typical run-of-the-mill boy band, which I've, grown up and wised up a little bit. So Harry's music to me now is very, I would say, I mean, it's inspirational in a way, but I want to say it's very culturally filling to me, if that makes sense.
You're a huge fan now is what you're saying.
I like his music. Yeah, it takes a lot for me to say I hated someone at the very beginning to I appreciate their music now. That's, Gabby was just talking about mature takes. I think that's a very mature take for someone that is not in the pop music phase.
He's growing up right before our eyes.
Literally and figuratively.
Really. We're proud of you, Austin.
So if you 2 want to talk about your love the bright man tonight, you're more than welcome to right now, because I know you guys absolutely love Harry Styles. If you haven't told, Brie, obviously with her, Hawaiian, he's very floral, loves wearing anything with flowers and very summery, flamboyant. Yes, and you have Gabby with her summer shades of the flowers as well. So I don't care which one of you wants to go first. That's if you guys just want to talk about how much you love him, just real quick before we get into everything.
I'd like to backtrack really quickly because you said you started from a place of hate, and with the run-of-the-mill boy band thing, I can understand the take, especially because One Direction started in the pits. I think then they had a good solid fan base, but generally their music didn't probably start to get good until like the third album. So but did you actually hate them and then have come around, or was it more just like a indifference?
My indifference with it is because I dug boy bands like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and for me, like, it almost seemed like when they started it was very childish kind of thing, and maybe that's just my personal take on it, but I will say this for myself. When we saw Harry, there wasn't a time where like they had like a little prompter that his voice would project off of, and I would just be bombarded with prepubescent screams. And maybe that's just much like I was just over it, like with that kind of thing. But that's kind of how I started off with it.
He literally sat there at the concert on his phone. And he's like, there's 5 songs left. And I'm like, I'm going to slap you.
You're a terrible concert buddy. Bree, do you do that when you go to see like Dance Gavin Dance or something? Probably not.
No, act like you wouldn't do that for Dance Gavin Dance. You totally would.
Because concerts are sacred. And like, if I am going to, because I didn't do that with John Mayer.
Well, we both like John Mayer.
But I'm just saying, I didn't sit there and be like, okay, like, let's go, it's 10 o'clock. No, we're there to enjoy the concert, not like, okay, let's go. But yeah, he sat there and he's like, oh, football, sports. Hey, look at this. Oh, 5 songs.
Basically ruined the show for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I would. No, didn't ruin it. But okay, so.
Sorry, I derailed your question, Bree. You can start with your humble beginnings first, if you'd like to.
Well, kind of like with Austin, when I was a wee child, I hated Harry because he was like the front man, like everything was about Harry, so it was like kind of annoying.
Girl.
But then when you like dig deeper and actually like learn more about him, and it's just like, oh, like he's actually this awesome human being, and then just watching him grow up, and then the music aspect helps along, and then the acting and everything else, just like a nice molded individual. But yeah,
the Swiss Army knife now is what I'll say. Like, he has multiple talents.
very
Yes.
That's so true. I didn't hate Harry, but I did like get triggered when I was younger about the fact that he was the star, and that was partly because of management and how they were pushing him to be like the front man and the heartthrob of One Direction, because I was a Louis person and also just really loved all I really like to give the whole group their fair share. Granted, at first Louis was the weakest singer in the group by a mile, probably, followed closely by Niall, and then Harry really wasn't up there vocally yet either, but he definitely had like some sort of pipes. He was also the youngest in the group, and it is really interesting to see how his career has arced. I think that they were all really, you can see the progression of all of their personalities and their vocal performance and just how talented they all are throughout the years. However, you cannot find me anywhere praising Liam ever again. It has gone the actual opposite of what it was, because he was probably the strongest in like the X Factor days vocally, and now he's in my Nightmare Blunt rotation. So I don't even smoke, but like you wouldn't find me anywhere near that man. I put him like right in the bottom tier of human beings.
That's an
Well,
interesting.
just to say, I love Harry and like where his career has gone since the, 12 years ago.
It's true. That's interesting that a former member of One Direction is in a Nightmare Blunt rotation. I don't think
I mean, his singles aren't that great.
Oh
and
yeah, I
his-
know that.
Yeah.
Austin, we do have.
Yeah, I know. I see it. I don't even know how to
Yes.
do that. I don't even know how to do that.
Well, come on, just
talk
think.
about fruit.
All right. So
Sing
for
about
those
fruit.
that don't know, for you two, Denny just redeemed some karaoke time to say we want a Harry Styles impression from the Rank King. Normally I would go out and I would like buy a romper or something and like. But I guess
You
I
can
don't
pull
know.
it off too. Just
This
saying.
is weak. I know. I don't have the hair, but like I basically have everything else.
Oh yeah, which is all that's needed, bud.
Just body and everything, and all
Mhm.
this jazz. I don't know. Let's watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high. Hi, Denny. There's your impression.
That was a very mellow emphasis on the high, but I like it. I like it though.
I like it. That was good. Calling out Denny. I like it. Saying hi.
Call it as it is. But all right, we got some stuff to get through here. I think that's a good general opening because let's get us into radical ranking number 1. All righty. Radical ranking number 1. Now, this is going to be a little bit, I don't want to say contradictive, but these are the top Harry Styles albums. Now, for those that know, Harry himself only has 3 albums out. You're thinking, well, Austin, these are top 5. What are you doing? Have you lost your edge? Did that Taco Bell go to your head?
Math is
No,
not your
idiots.
strong suit.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
No, idiots. Shut up, because we're including not 1, but 2 One Direction albums on here.
What?
He's a directioner. You heard it here first.
Properly placed. Listen, Harry Styles albums, Harry was in One Direction, so it technically counts for those 2 albums to be on here. No, that's not a thing. It's not a thing, honey. It's not like the Joe Bros.
They're never coming back.
Now wait a sec, Bree. How much did you collaborate on this ranking with him?
What we spent?
For this one.
This one?
Yeah, not a lot. I would
No.
think this
So this is your ranking.
is mine basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but we like agreed.
Yeah,
on
we
it.
agreed on it, but yeah,
So it's just kind of like,
yeah.
Okay.
All
Got
right,
it.
let's hear it.
So, this might peeve some people off, I would say, but I'm going with number 5 with his recent. I'm going with Harry's House at 5. Listen, I thought this was the most progressive out of Harry that I've seen since, his last album. Being that his last one was very summertime, summer vibes and everything. And this one gave me more of a very winter indie feel, which I appreciate a lot. However, when you stack it up against the other albums that are in place, it really, I wouldn't say it doesn't touch it, but it's definitely on the lower side of the spectrum of his discography. So, I don't know. That's my take on it. Any comments?
What an interesting seasonal approach to it, because Fine Line, which I'm assuming is what you're talking about when you say like the summary album, was released in December, and
Yes.
this one was released like
Almost in the
not
summer.
even 2 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
it's just funny to think about that. And also I'm thinking the slower, more melancholy songs are on the last album versus this one has a more cohesive, upbeat type all the way through the record.
Right.
But you're not wrong. I don't think it's his strongest record, but I do like that he's able to jump from genres pretty seamlessly without going too far, and it worked out well for this because I think it's a really cohesive album. His most of that yet.
Honey, your thoughts?
yeah. Well, I mean, part of it too is like it just came out like 2 weeks ago, so there's not like that connection with
Mhm.
it just yet. Because like the other ones, like we've been to the concerts, or like my friends and I like are able to like jam out a little bit more, like driving through at night and stuff. So like there's more emotional connection with like the other ones, where this one is just newer and not that story yet.
Hasn't taken the right time to develop, I guess, with its listeners.
Yeah, it usually takes a couple listens for songs to like kick in, basically.
Right. And like I said, 2 weeks was when, or sometime in time frame, this came out. So it's the more recent. So like I said, it hasn't had the chance to really dive into the minds and listen of the ears of the listeners yet. So, but give it time. I think it will come around as one of his stronger ones. Just has to marinate a little bit longer in people's brains in order for that to happen. So, but that's what it is. Harry's House at 5. We'll head off to number 4, the first of our One Direction albums. This, to me, number 4, Midnight Memories.
I knew it. That's very you.
Is very me?
Yeah, because it's like their rock album.
Yeah, I would think so. This is kind of where, like, I would say this is where you like started showing me a lot of like their music. And granted, it's been on like airwaves and everything, but like I've never sat down and have listened to this album on my own before. But then you came along and you were like, here, One Direction. I was like, here, post-hardcore metalcore. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, took a listen to it, and
Austin, I will be honest with you. I actually did consider putting Best Song Ever on my guilty pleasure.
Oh, there we go.
I can.
Story of My Life is a good one too.
Yeah,
I will admit that.
I considered it. Yeah.
But yeah, I think like Gabby's right in the technical term that like this is their more rock album. So I, as a listener of more progressive metal and I guess post-hardcore music, like I appreciate that a lot more in these records, which is why, I mean, I think there's still one that's better, but for me, I think this is like the tipping point of like, oh, these guys know how to do this a little bit. So I was like, okay, this is cool. So
It's definitely the point where they started to get their footing as a group and as artists, because when they walked onto the scene, they were just kids who they were like, I'm gonna go on TV, and then they had, like sold out arenas. They didn't know what to do, and they were probably exhausted. So it was definitely a time for them to get, situated and into the music.
yeah,
I have a question though. Are you also doing like a top 10 songs, or are you ranking the albums?
this is strictly, there's a top 10 songs coming later, but it is strictly Harry. It is
Okay,
strictly
so
Harry.
what's your favorite 1 or 2 songs on Midnight Memories?
Oh, I have to go back and make sure I
Yeah, you
remember
gotta
in all my
check the
notes.
list.
I was gonna say we have it up right now if you want us to run through it real quick.
Yeah, give me a sec, because I had it saved on my Spotify a little bit, so.
Would you have considered Story of My Life for a guilty pleasure for you, just out of curiosity?
Story,
It would be a good one,
Story of My Life is more of a guilty pleasure for me. I would say that one. Yeah, it's typical to say Midnight Memories. I kind of think that like maybe Little Black Dress, I kind of am like into a little bit more. So I would say like those 3. Maybe what's the other one? Better Than Words too. So it's an interesting question, Gabby. I know, I like it. You're calling me out of my stuff.
No, I was just
You're supposed
curious.
to.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments to add about Midnight Memories?
Well, like Gabby said, it was like more like their
Rock.
rock, but like them starting to like experiment more instead of just like with the pop before, because like before you could really tell that it was heavily influenced by like other people and not them. So like Midnight Memories on, they're like starting to like really get into their sound and just experiment more to see like where they want to go with their sound and stuff.
I think this is the first One Direction album that any of them get writing credit on.
Yeah, did they not get writing credit on the other ones?
Well, so the first album and the second albums, they were only recorded, I think, 9 months apart, because they were just, I think their label and their management were just trying to feed off of the frenzy that was, the the hoopla
Mhm.
from the fans coming from the X Factor and like them trying to get into concerts and stuff. They actually started as a cover band. I mean, they were going on the X Factor and trying for solo careers and singing covers like you would on any other singing show. And then so it was very much like, you can tell just specifically on the first album. I think the second album is a little bit better. I'm assuming neither of them are making your top 5, so I'm just gonna trash them a little bit, though I do love them with my 13-year-old heart a little bit. But they really are just like straight out of a writing room where they're like, what can we, what's that Bo Burnham and what, where he's like, Jason Derulo, and he writes the song that's like the perfect pop song for getting to the teen girls. That's exactly what One Direction's first album is. It's so corny, and I love it. But it's
I
so
love the
corny.
comparison. Yeah, I mean, everyone has that feeling, you know, speaking from like the three of us with Greg, Bo, and I, you know, and you two as well, I'm assuming, like, especially with our pop punk days, we still hold songs that we listened to when we were in middle school that we'll just never let go.
Still slaps. Still
Tom
slaps.
DeLonge, Blink Forever, man. I'll hold that to him. All right, let's move on to number 3. For me, I had the One Directions back to back. This one for me, number 3 is Made in the AM. I think that's, if we're talking strictly like One Direction albums, I think this is their best one. And it goes a lot because like I love a lot of the song. Like Drag Me Down still is just like, I'll still like just like sometimes like because she'll be in the car, we'll play One Direction and everything, and I'll just nobody can let me down.
You should have put that as your earworm, bud.
Yeah, that should have. Well, no.
Mhm.
Spoiler: I don't give a music league away, Greg. Now,
Fair
come
enough.
on now.
Fair enough.
Also,
You
you're
don't know
pumped
it.
up, man.
That's true.
You're pumped. I know it. I'd say a lot of people agree with you that that's their best album. I think 4 is their best album, but I do think it's commendable that after they lost a main member that did all of their high notes, that they made arguably one of their best albums and only did it with their 4 members. Like, you would think that that would have totally been the end for them, but they really got one last good album out of it.
Yeah, one last hoorah, as people would say. We kind of got the feeling that once like Zayn up and left, that this is the
The end
what
of
is
the
that?
road.
What's the boiling point? The boiling point of maybe the downfall of One Direction. But hey, you got people like Brie that are still saying, no, they're just on hiatus.
They're just taking a break.
I still say it too. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I mean,
Can I also just add, while we're still on the One Direction train, if you're anything like me, and I'm sure maybe Brie is the same way, but like the frenzy that it caused because Zayn left the band and then the news got announced in the middle of the school day, and girlies were just in math class just bawling. They were like, Zayn left the band.
Jesus.
It was chaotic.
The overuse of the mascara just running down like, no.
Well, you know they'll come back because all the bands do.
They always do, yeah.
Like
We'll see.
Backstreet Boys are still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
We'll
Boys
see.
came back.
They did.
I will say,
Backstreet's
I
back.
nev-
All right.
Shut up. All right. I will say I never thought like Hootie and the Blowfish would ever come back together as a group for a reunion tour. So anything is possible. That is what I will say. Yeah, just some of the songs, like I said, Drag Me Down, Perfect, Long Way Down. Just, man, some of these just really like. It's solo.
Yeah.
They hit people in the right feels, man. They just do.
It's a great album.
So now let's get back on the Harry train. This was actually kind of tough, although because I obviously when originally making this list, like what I was going through trying to figure out angles, I thought I had one clear, very clear, but then this one kind of gave me a little bit of a run for my money. I still put it at 2 and still the other one at number 1. But number 2 is the first one, the self-titled Harry Styles album. This one had a lot of bangers, just to say the least. I don't want to give it away because there's some that are in the top 10 later and everything, but I'm like listening to this, I'm like, oh, this kid's not a boy anymore. I'm like, oh geez, like, he's not this young boy anymore. I'm like, my God, kid's got like really, really good like in maturing his talent, and he knows the right, I guess, the right feelings to hit, the right buttons to push, whatever you want to call it. It threw me through a loop when I listened to it. I was like, yeah, this ain't One Direction anymore. This is Harry. So, thoughts on that, ladies? Like, how do you feel that the self-titled is number 2?
I'm a little shocked only because I just said how I knew Midnight Memories was going to be on your list because it's the rock album, and I was thinking that would mean self-titled was going to go first because that's his rock album.
Yeah.
And I think the lyrics of like the songs, because like we get a deeper insight into like his mind and just like more personal because he's a very like private person. So even just by the lyrics, like we get a deeper look into like how he thinks and like relationships within his life and stuff.
What is it you call Larry? What is it? Larry? Shh.
We'll get there.
Oh, God. Yeah, you guys are
Some
crazy.
people find Larry offensive.
What was that?
Some people find Larry offensive.
Okay, I got
Not some people, but
Gotcha. Yeah, for me, like I know like the rock persona of this. That's why it gave me a struggle originally at first when I was doing this, because I was like, man, this is really good. Like it's got me like wanting to bang my head and everything. Like just think I'm like back in like the old days of like. But I'm telling like Greg, you think you're laughing, but like give it a listen to. You'll think like, there's some parts that generate with you on that, man. It is a wonderful record to listen to. But number 1, and this might change depending on, but it is a solidified number 1 for right now. Number 1 is Fine Line. I can't put it in any other way. The summer vibe feel almost like there are certain albums that come out by people in the summer that I'm like into it right away. Horrible example, but Calvin Harris, when his one album came out in the summer that had all those features, they had one with Frank Ocean that I still jam out in the summertime because it just has that feel to it. This album has that summer. I mean, granted, summer's my favorite season out of the year, so this might be a little bit of a bias, but there are just so many wonderful tracks in this that I could go to like, I don't know, an after party and play and just like, Johnny Depp Pirates of the Caribbean dance to it. I mean, it's just wonderful. I can't say much anything else about it. It's great. What do you think?
I kind of zoned out.
That happens a lot when you talk, apparently.
There are some good songs on this one, I will admit.
Fine Line.
Some catchy songs.
I like it. It definitely, like, it's on replay in my car, especially like Golden and Canyon Moon, and like the upbeat songs, Treat People with Kindness. Like they're fantastic songs, and I really like this album.
Gab, your take?
I think your take is interesting and not wrong because it definitely has all the radio hits and like the really happy songs on it. But I treat the record as like 2 halves, but not by track order, because when you look at the track order, the sad songs are really interspersed with the happy songs and the radio hits. But I mean, like the title track, Fine Line, is like a deep sadness for me, like in the best way. It really hits me. She or Cherry and Lights Up, like those are songs that really, I think maybe it's just the lyrical content too, especially for a song like Lights Up, because that's a huge like anthem type of track. But it's so interesting because it switches all through the record where you're like, oh, watermelon sugar, and then it goes like later in the record you're sitting there listening to Falling and you're like, oh my god, just shaking inside of a blanket.
Sorry, my cat is getting very, very close to the
Oh
microphone.
no!
Aw,
not a hairy fan.
you hate to see it.
Kind of wrapped up in the
That's
cord
something
trying
to
to chase
say.
the ball. Silly boy. Ay, ay, ay.
You hate to see it.
Waiting for your ranking to be done to be like, okay, I have something to say.
Yeah.
It's
No,
wrong.
yeah, he's he's a very mischievous boy. He loves to get into all kinds of issues.
Mm.
But
You've learned to love him, apparently, it seems.
yeah, I've grown accustomed to him.
You tolerate him?
He's
Tolerate.
taller. Greg's not a very good or not very good, but he's not a very cat person.
I am not. No. So.
Yeah, hopefully this will. All right, that'll have to stay there for now. But so yes, I think that was a good talk. I think we got a lot of retrospective on how these albums kind of feel for us. Now let's get into the second radical ranking. We're gonna have a little bit of fun on this one because we're gonna get into radical ranking number 2. Alrighty. This radical ranking, these are the top surprising Harry Styles facts.
Oh, this should be a good one.
Ooh.
You two probably know a good majority of these, but to me, when I was going, what was that?
I'm so excited to test my knowledge.
There, it is interesting enough, and this is going to be more of a shock for those two in the studio, because obviously they don't listen to a lot of Harry, so these
Nope.
are some interesting facts that are going to come their way. Let's start off with number 5 in more of the cinematic style. Don't Worry, Darling. This is a movie that is going to be directed and played in by Olivia Wilde.
I saw the trailer. It looks great.
Yes.
It looks great.
In which Harry stars in. And this is, I was like watching it and I was like, man, this is really like 19, like kind of vibe.
Mhm.
Like, the wives going off, or the wives staying at home, the husband's going off to work, like that kind of thing. And then it throws me through a loop
Mhm.
that this is a like not paranormal, that's the wrong term. Psychological thriller.
Mhm.
And Harry has played in various roles. He was a soldier in Dunkirk, that film, which was very, very well done, as well as he found his way into the Marvel universe for the end of the Eternals. So I know that she was like, we have to watch the Eternals. I'm like, honey, it is literally like 2 minutes of him at the end. She's like, I'll wait the whole time. I'm like, it is almost a 2.5 hour film.
It's a long movie.
Yes.
It's a long movie.
It's not one of Marvel's best.
No,
but
it is
I
not.
still enjoyed it.
No, it is
But-
not.
It's just
I love
Ant-Man's
that
the
Harry.
best. We've been
I love
over
that
this how many times?
What are you saying?
Ant-Man.
Shut up.
We've been
No,
over
it's
this so many
We
times.
understand.
it's
We're talking
not,
about one of
though.
the bad ones. That's what we're referring to. Okay.
Another time.
Yes.
You stop that. I love that Harry is kind of like going in this direction where a lot of kind of musical artists are kind of finding their way into TV shows and movies. Miley Cyrus did it when she was in Black Mirror and all this other things. Like I really like Lady Gaga eventually, like going into her like cinematic. I love that Harry's taking this step because I firmly believe that the 2 films that I've seen, proper grammar now, he is a really good actor. And I'm interested to see when they kind of give him like the push to kind of maybe break through for his thing, because I love, as you all know, I am the big fan of the scary, the thrillers, and the psychological.
Yeah. Awesome.
So this, Good.
I was gonna say, like, when I saw the trailer, like, this gives me very Stepford Wives vibes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
like right
100%.
from the get-go on that one. And also, big Florence Pugh fan, so can't go
Yes.
wrong with that whatsoever.
Same.
Bay.
Love
Uh,
that.
Absolute Bay.
Which I don't think that you remember, but she is the main star in Midsummer, correct?
Yep.
I believe so, yes.
You didn't like that movie.
She has the most haunting scream cry I've ever heard. Like, I can still hear it in my ears, and I watched that movie for the first time.
Yes.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's. I thought it was really good at first, and then I watched it through. And I was like, yeah, there's some plots that don't really make sense, but it's still a really good A24 film that I appreciate. And since we're talking about A24, talk about number 4, and
Good segue.
and not only that, Greg, but this 4 is that he has over 40 different tattoos. 40.
Okay.
40.
A lot
Yeah.
of tattoos.
Well, that
That's a
doesn't
lot.
that makes sense because it's probably like they're very like smaller kind of hidden ones. I'm assuming.
Yes,
So yeah, that's what I.
Well, like when you hear that and you see him and you hear 40, you're like, where are these tattoos? Like, where are they? Like, he doesn't show much. But also, I didn't put this in there. He has one matching with everybody's favorite pop redhead, Ed Sheeran. They
Oh,
have matching tattoos.
I like him already just for that. Just cause.
It's bonus points.
That's bonus points for me right there.
He also got one of his tattoos live on TV.
Yes.
It's
What?
Corden.
Yeah, the Corden show, and then he did karaoke car later in that show with him. Like it's
the same episode.
That's awesome.
yeah, same episode.
That's great.
Man, yeah, there will be a time when I require a tattoo. I don't know when it will be, but
When you require
she's very convincing for me to get a tattoo. So
Good. You need it at least once in your
I'll
life.
get like Mr. Like I joke about this with her all the time. I'll get like Mr. Poopy Butthole on like my ankle. and
Yeah,
everything.
like it doesn't have to be anything ridiculous. Like each of my thighs were $1,000 each. You don't have to go that crazy, but like get something like do something at like a pop up where it's like $60 or something.
Get a taco.
It's like
Yeah.
he's like each of mine were $1,000 each. That's not bad.
It's not. It
The
was
whole
spread out.
five.
It was spread out. It wasn't that big a deal.
I gotta get on your payment plan, Greg. We will go now to number 3. He was the first solo male Vogue cover. This was big. Like for until this time, there had not been just one single male on the Vogue cover, and this was a big. I'm trying to remember why. Like I know it was big because
Well-
he was going to it a little bit. I know you know.
Well, with him being male, or at least outwardly being a male, but also like he wore like more feminine clothing,
Attire,
so that
that's
was
why, yeah.
like a massive thing. Which I think like the cover outfit that he wore, I think they have it like in a museum and stuff now. But that was like massive because
It's the one where he's jumping, right? Is that the one where he's jumping?
I don't.
He
I don't think it's it's on the cover. I think the cover photo is him like blowing up the balloon.
that
But
might
there
be.
is the like the ballet photos, I think, or what you're thinking of.
I think there's one where he's just like jumping
think
in
that
the
was
air,
for
like next.
SNL in a tutu.
Oh, that's right. Okay. But yeah, it's a big thing because you had just never seen it before, and especially in the fashion world and everything, you kind of figured like you would see at least like more females like on the cover. That's just what it has been. But Harry, breaking the barrier of social boundaries and social norms, it was fantastic. I have to say it was a really big move because when you make that move, you're 9 times out of 10, you will probably anger somebody, and that's just how it is. Society's very hard at adjusting to certain issues.
Yeah.
And I think that he took it as more of a challenge and was like, I'm going to break these boundaries. And I don't know why I thought of like the break these cuffs, like the cops scene or whatever.
It's kind of
But-
like when you rank things. People are gonna get mad.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, very true. I thought you were making a joke there, but yes.
No, I'm on your
yeah,
side
you
this time.
you embrace the heat basically.
Yes. And it's funny that we get to the heat because number 2 was a spicy one. And I was like, what?
Look at you
He
segueing
almost,
so well. He's a pro.
he,
He's a pro.
I,
That was a team effort.
Yeah,
You
that's
started
true.
that.
Yeah, that's fair.
he almost bit his tongue off from magic mushrooms.
I'm curious how this was made apparent. Just
Listen, the photo, I was like, I gotta put this in here. This is hilarious. It's just like psychedelic in the background and everything. But I mean, drugs do different things to people, man. And sometimes you
Really?
almost bite off your own tongue.
Really, Austin, what kind of things do drugs do to you? Can you give us some ideas?
Well, I've only heard.
Oh, okay. You've only heard.
I don't have
okay.
personal experience.
Okay.
From that.
Okay.
But yeah, when I heard that, I was like, Harry? Really? That's insane. That's crazy. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? I was just more stunned than everything.
So like Vo actually had this quote up real quick because it was from Insider. So the singer told Rolling Stone he did a lot of mushrooms while recording his second album at Malibu's Shangri-La Studios. We do mushrooms, lie down on the grass, and listen to Paul McCartney's Ram in the Sunshine. So, and that's funny because Paul McCartney and John Lennon, anytime, like, especially in the later years when they recorded songs for the Beatles and stuff, have said that they did a lot of drugs when they recorded the albums and stuff. So, if anything, I would say Styles was probably, like, maybe trying to manifest something kind of like what Paul McCartney and John Lennon did.
It's never a bad thing. Sometimes
drugs are not a bad thing, Austin. Yes, that is accurate. Mm-hmm.
Some of them are bad. Let's put that out there.
Some are, yes.
Which is also like, Fine Line is not really a record you listen to and you're like, he was definitely doing shrooms during this, except for maybe a couple tracks. Versus a lot of Beatles albums, you're like, they were super high all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And then finally, one that I was like, what? Insanity. Crazy. He has 4 nipples. I did not realize this.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, he has 4 nipples.
I didn't know this
Like,
one.
I'm curious how you found out about this.
Well, I honestly, I was just...
Makes sense.
1.
1.
2.
Apparently he can do math. Go figure.
More history guy than math, but yes.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that because that was, just what? Like crazy. But like, hey, good for him. You know what I'm saying? All I can really say about it, honestly.
Did you guys know about this one?
I can't say I know how to do math because I definitely thought it was 3. I knew it wasn't 2. And I didn't know how many tattoos he had. So I just knew that there were numerous.
Does it make him more appealing to either of you two, knowing that he has 4 nipples? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, if you look at photos, this is widely available information on the internet. There's shirtless photos of him. You can see them. They're super, like, discreet. Like, you don't look at them and be like, whoa, because they're, like, right underneath, like, the normal ones. Yeah. And they're just, like, they're so tiny that you can't really tell. So I wouldn't say it's, like, it does anything for me in either way.
I was going to say they look like birthmarks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird.
So, yeah, it is true.
Huh.
Don't do anything to you. I'm assuming. I don't know.
No, I
No,
mean,
she likes 5, actually, Austin.
Yeah.
You'll never be enough.
Oh. Sucks for you, bud.
we're catching up.
Yeah, I know, right? All right. I think it's now time for our favorite segment here at the RanKing's Court, because it is time for the great debate. All right, the great debate. And this is a question for all of us. I don't know if Oranger sent in the order.
I haven't heard from him today.
I highly doubt it because I doubt he knew there was going to be 5 of us on the show today.
That's true, yeah.
That's fine, whatever. But the great debate, the question is simply this. Who is one person you'd want to see Harry duet with?
Ooh. Are we talking alive or all time?
We'll stick to alive because I think that that opens a lot of boundaries and doors for, whatever. I'll make it a little bit easier. It can be one person or it can be one group.
Oh, okay. That's
Is it
interesting.
really,
Not
is it really
say-
a duet though? If it's a group?
Perform with. Let's say that, Bo. Does that make it easier? One person or one group that you would like to see Harry perform with.
I want someone else to go first.
Which he's performed with Lizzo and Shania Twain and
Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks. Yeah, that's the other one I was thinking.
That's
So,
that's a fun combo, actually. Yeah.
right?
Fun
But-
fact, actually, the one you missed, Austin, is that him and Stevie Nicks met. He baked her a carrot cake, and that's how they became friends.
That's
That's
awesome.
Isn't it so funny and cute? Like, it just makes me. I just think that that's so heartfelt and fun.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. Man, I wish I could learn how to bake. I'm probably not good at it.
He worked in a bakery.
That explains a lot.
was a baker.
I was a baker. All right, so let's try and figure out this order. So I think maybe the easiest would probably be to have you two go first, but
Actually, I mean, I think they said they didn't want to go first, so like, I mean,
that's true. Gabby didn't want to go first.
Bo and I can easily just come up with stuff like on the fly, and then
I can-
like, you guys
I
think
can start.
yeah.
I can start if that's okay with you guys, because I have mine.
Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I have one of mine
So-
too, but go ahead. You go first.
Shut up, Bo.
It's your show. You're gonna be wrong.
Yeah, it is
Go ahead.
my show. So this is a no-brainer for me. I think this would be a wonderful tandem to see him play with this man. I am going with John Mayer.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were gonna go that route, actually.
Really good one. I was thinking about it. Yeah.
Harry with John, I could see not only just wonderful chemistry musically, but with each other. Like, I think that they would be like wonderful together on stage. Like, when we saw John, he was so like, I wouldn't say overly polite. Like, he was just like, "Hey guys, how you doing? I'm John Mayer." Like, I don't know if I wanted to do this song, but I'll play it. And then you guys are awesome. And to have him with like Harry, just like going back and forth and everything, I think would be spectacular, especially since John has like experience with performing with others. He was the head man of Dead and Company with the rest of Grateful Dead. I think that he would work very well together with Harry Styles. So John Mayer is my pick, locking it in.
Solid pick.
All right.
Excellent choice.
Do you want me to go?
It's up to you.
I'll go. I mean, mine is just kind of like, I feel like it's just super easy because it's generations, it's countrymen. I mean, I feel like it'd be so simple. Give me Sir Paul McCartney.
I like that, Greg.
I feel like that'd be perfect. Like, can you imagine him doing Beatles songs with Paul McCartney also on guitar? That'd be amazing.
I'm imagining it. I'm just like, oh, that sounds like I would go to that concert, 100%. It's like she would be there for Harry, and I'd be there for Paul McCartney.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with that.
But okay, so John Mayer, Sir Paul McCartney. Vo, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I thought you were gonna take this one. I'm going Ed Sheeran. I don't know if they've ever performed together.
I feel
but
like, yeah, when he said that they were friends, I thought about that, but then I was also like, you know what?
I haven't
I don't
heard
think
of
they've
them
ever
performing.
I don't know of it if it exists. So.
But I feel like they have the same type of music style, so they'd be a deadly duo.
Yeah.
Well, he did write a few of like their early songs,
Yeah.
like in One Direction, so it wouldn't be.
You can like tell which ones he wrote too.
Yeah.
It's almost annoying.
It's almost like
I'm a
I am
huge
a
Ed Sheeran
Sheeran
fan,
fan.
though. So.
Yeah.
it's like, here, Ahmed, I wrote this. Like, but no, I mean, Ed Sheeran's he put out an album with like just about every single genre that had it under the sun.
Yep.
Not only
Yep.
that, but he one of my personal favorites, which I didn't even know he had it in him. He performed at the I want to get this right. It's the Britain Awards or something. I can't like.
Oh, with Bring Me the Horizon?
Yeah, he performed. With
Oh,
Bring
it
Me
was
the
incredible.
Horizon.
Incredible.
And I was like, yo, this man, let's go. I was so pumped. But I love Ed Sheeran, though I think that's a great pick. And now we go to the ladies.
You want to go first?
Yeah, but I'm not like, oh, it's really hard. But also, I think that some of the dream ones are the ones that have already happened, and maybe that's just me not being imaginative. But the one that immediately really came to mind I'm gonna cheat because I have one that's like a new artist that I want to highlight that I don't think is getting enough credit, but I think would work really well with Harry. And then a classic. My classic choice is The Cure. I just think that would be like so fun because I think that their sound really influences One Direction a lot, and also like Harry's music in general. So, and that's like one of my favorite bands of all time. So I think that would just like really work for me. I would pick David Bowie if he was alive.
Oh,
That would have been.
that'd be incredible too.
Like the two gender bender types, I think would just be like what an incredible duet that would be.
Yeah, that's why I was like, when I thought of like when Bo asked the question of alive or not,
Bowie
like,
would have been excellent.
David
Yes.
Bowie's a big giveaway for that. So I was like, nah. Like, man, that would be a dream though. So is that your highlight one, or you said you were gonna?
That's my like classic, and then I'm feeling like a lot of people who watch this might not have heard of this group, but Sammy Ray and the Friends are a new group as of, I'm not going to say like new, like they've been around for a few years, but they, as of right now, still don't have a studio album out yet, just EPs. I went to see Sammy and her band at Mr. Smalls with my friends who are obsessed, and it was one of the most fantastic shows I've ever seen because they have a full band, and she's a fantastic singer. So I think that would just be like a dream collab for me. So please check out Sammy Ray and the Friends.
Yeah, we'll
If you're
definitely
really into like a jazzy pop day.
Ooh, okay.
I do love me some jazz in it. Now, I feel like I know yours, but you may say.
Well, what's your guess?
No, because I don't want to ruin it.
Well, within the past few years with Harry, like blossoming into this human being that he is now, and even just like the Coachella performances that he's done, I would say Elton John.
Oh, that's not where I was going, but I love that. Wow.
I mean, their energies and just like stage performance and stage.
How did we not guess?
I mean, he dressed up.
Yeah.
as
If you would
Elton
have
John
took Ed
to-
Sheeran, I was going Elton John.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So here's my take, because I thought you were gonna say Youngblood.
Youngblood, I also thought about
I
too.
was
actually,
thinking,
that would have been good.
Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
That would also be like a fun one. But like Elton John, though.
Oh yeah, Elton John. I mean, crap. I thought I had a really good one, but now that one.
See, he just admitted he lost right there.
Yeah.
Listen.
Well, he always loses when it's with the Queen, technically.
This is the respect. But all right, so let's run through. I picked John Mayer. Greg picked Paul McCartney. Vo picked Ed Sheeran. Gabby picked. Oh my God, I hate myself. Gabby picked.
She picked like 4 different ones in
No,
fairness.
I did technically. It was The Cure.
Yeah, she picked The Cure. I was stuck on Bowie and then your person that you named, but she picked The Cure, and Bree picked Elton John. Wow, those are. I would pay to see any one of those. 100%.
I also just thought about Britney Spears. That would be.
That would also be really good
really
too.
Yeah.
Oh. She said it would be toxic in case she didn't get the joke. Alrighty, what we're gonna do right now, viewers watching at home, go get a drink, go to the restroom, relax a little bit, because right now we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with our top 10 ranking of the evening. Stay tuned.
Let's dive right into sports, as I have strong opinions on that. Which college team could beat a professional team in the same sport right now?
Okay.
There is not a single answer that is better than the LSU Tigers defeating the Cincinnati Bengals.
Even if I know the pitch that's coming, every other part of me is still normal.
That's why it's frustrating for me, Greg.
It's like okay, if I know what something is coming, I know ahead of time, I still have to be able to do the action to get the result that I need.
Okay, so they won 3 games in 10 years with 3 rebuilds.
I don't lose at arguments. All
Especially
right.
about fast food. So yeah.
You will never walk alone. Guess what? Now you will. Coronavirus.
I barely touch my girlfriend's cat. The most I'd be willing to do is like just kind of put my finger on its forehead and just like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with us is Alex Kazor from Steelers Depot.
We are live with Ryan Smith, professional cornhole player in the ACL. Ryan,
what all franchises were you able to work with in the NHL?
With Phoenix, Carolina, and Detroit.
So here is Moorhead's ranking. Moorhead is my cousin. He is the rank king.
Higher
Top 10 extra Power Rangers.
Okay. This is the top 10 emo songs of the 2000s.
There's only one correct answer for number one. Why is F is for Family better than Futurama when Futurama is like Star Wars for potheads? Like
I know. So I think
we have one or two that are mad in the chat.
You're welcome for that.
Okay, we're gonna get banned.
Welcome back, everybody. It is our big finale of the Harry Styles episode because right now we are getting into the top 10 Harry Styles songs.
Now, question. Are these all just his songs? These aren't One Direction
These are
songs?
Yes,
okay.
These are all Harry songs. There's no One Direction in here. I strictly put the One Direction albums in there because we didn't have 5 studio albums off of Harry Styles.
Okay.
So that was my gateway into this, but this is strictly all Harry Styles. You guys know, if you've watched the show at this point, you know that our guest will make a top 10. Gabby made her top 10. Bree and I actually collaborated our top 10 together.
As a good king and queen should.
Love.
Yay.
Love wins, folks. Love wins.
We'll see who wins the crown, though, at the end.
That's true. But, yes, the top 10 Harry Styles songs. Gabby will give her 10. Bree and I will give our 10. And then we'll domino effect from there until we reach number 1. We'll put them on socials at the end, and you will decide who has the best taste in music with Harry Styles. I think it's going to be us. I don't know.
I'm not going to be offended if it is you guys, but mine's the best.
I'm not going to be offended.
She's confident.
I love that.
That's
I
good.
love that. All right. So, Gabby, start us off then. What is number 10?
At number 10, I feel like I have maybe a controversial pick, but maybe not. I have As It Was at number 10, the lead single off of Harry's House, which was also, if I'm not mistaken, the song that reached the most streams in the first 24 hours that it's ever been up on Spotify in like the history of Spotify, which is really cool. I was definitely a part of that trend. I listened to it all day when it came out, and I'm still not sick of it. I think it is like such a heartfelt song that when you listen to it, you almost think that it's sad at first because it sounds like he's looking back on things in, you know, he's missing them. He's nostalgic for a way that it used to be. But I think that when you listen to it more and more, I don't know how many times I've listened to it now, a stupid amount, but you listen to it and you're thinking like, you connect it with the kids' voices in the beginning. Those are Olivia Wilde's kids talking in the background, and like that he's taking on this role within their lives. And it just is like a super heartfelt tune that he's really happy and at home, pun intended, because it's Harry's house in like his new life and his relationship. So that's my number 10 is As It Was.
I love it. Now, how does, I have to bring this up because how does Ian feel on
Ian doesn't like it, and I thought it was gonna be a slam dunk for him. He is not a Harry Styles fan, and I thought like this song could be an in, and you know, and now the audience will know Ian plays drums. Those are his rock band drums in the background. but he was like, it doesn't have real drums, so it's not my favorite song. I was like, okay.
Ooh,
He
so
does
picky.
have some
So
Harry Styles
picky.
songs that he likes, but not this one apparently.
Yeah, believe me, when it comes to him and music, he is the hardest to reach.
Such a critic.
I had when we were doing our like quarantine thing, and Bree and I weren't living together at the time. When we drove to meet each other the one day in like one of those like parking lot dates kind of thing, she had showed me, because she was the one that got me into like as many artists. She also got me into Youngblood, which I didn't think originally I would have gotten into, but she showed me this song called Weird. And I said, wow, this kind of has a lot of pop punk Blink vibe to it. And I really enjoyed it. So I sent it to Ian and I said, hey, I think you're really going to like this. And he's like, nah, it's not good at all. And I was like, dude,
just shut it down.
No, that's what he just.
Okay.
I was like, all right, I don't have any taste, but I'm stalling. For our number 10, we decided to choose Treat People with Kindness. I think that the message of the song, how it's played, just the overall wonderful feeling you get with it.
With a side of sadness.
With a side of sadness, thank you. I think that it's the proper song to, because it's not everybody's cup of tea, but when it reaches the individual, it really like sinks into them heartstrings and it plays fluently. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything to it or anything, but no, I mean, I basically said it all. Okay. Yeah, I talk too much. I know. I'm sorry. But yeah, that is our number 10. We really, really enjoy it.
That used to be in my top 10 until Harry's House was released. Sorry to butt in. I think it's a fantastic song. It's like that song that I listen to, and I think that it would work for my grandma. It would work for the kids. It works in any setting, and it just has such a wonderful message, as you said. But the choir that sings the chorus is just like you can't beat it. But except apparently it did, because it got edged out of my top 10. So I still love it.
Good to know. You're number 9 now, Gabby.
Okay, my number 9 is still on the Harry's House trend, is grape juice, which I was talking to my friends about this and they were like, are you serious? So, and your face tells me that you think the same thing. I love it. I love that it's stripped back, and it really is for me. It's like how you were talking about Fine Line is kind of like the chill, like listen to the vibes. That's what grape juice is for me. Like, I feel like I'm laying on a blanket in a park on a sunny day, sipping the grape juice. And I love the way he goes up and down the scales on the verses. It really like speaks to the choir kid in me.
Yeah, we had enough of them choir memories, I'll say that.
I know.
To say the least. No, I don't hate grape juice. I think that it's not one of the stronger ones on his album.
Juice.
Like, shut up, though.
What about apple juice?
Don't you hate on apple juice?
You like wine? The song is about wine.
Yes.
I have become a wine person, so.
Love me some wine.
Have you?
I have,
You
yes.
You love it. Yeah, it's all right, so our number 9, we're going to piggyback off what you said, Gab. We're going with As It Was for us at 9. This kind of, when this song was released, I said, we're going to get a whole new style of Harry that I really didn't even knew existed. And man, like, I will play this without her telling me, by the way. Like, I will play this in the car and she'll look at me, she's like, oh, she's like, what, Harry? Like, yes, Harry. This song really does it for me. And I know that this is, like you said, it's one of the it's the most played song on Spotify in that time frame. Some may call it a little overplayed originally, but I think that that's just any song that you hear on the radio for a certain amount of time is going to be feeling like that. But I love the feeling of this. Like it's almost, like I said, we're talking about breaking boundaries and developing new styles. Like, this is like he exited the door from Fine Line in the summer and put on a winter jacket and walked into the new domain that would be this album. And it got me, I literally looked at her and I said, this is going to be a really, really good album. Now, granted, it's still a number 5 for me, but number 3 if you're just counting the Harrys. But it's going to get there. It is going to get there. Any thoughts on As It Was?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm hitting all the points. I'm hitting all the points. It's a good thing.
Maybe let her do some of the points too, bud.
Yeah, give her the next one.
Yeah, you know, it's just saying.
I'm sorry. You both know I have a very diva personality, and I have to be.
No,
that's why you have a crown.
Were you a theater kid or something?
Alrighty, let's hit number 8.
Okay, my number 8, we talked about this song earlier, at least I did, when you were presenting your album rankings, is off of Fine Line, and it's the sad cut, which is Falling. I love this song. It makes me, okay, there's this, you know, on SpongeBob, I know I brought up SpongeBob earlier today too, but this is just a trend for me. There's like the scene where handsome Squidward is like falling slowly down a hallway.
Yes, and then you hear him like just screaming at the top of his lungs, but it looks like his face isn't going.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's like someone made a TikTok or something to this song while he's falling to it, and it fits perfectly. It's like it just has this sort of grace, but the lyrics really like just stab to the chest. It's such a good song, and it's like that stripped back piano track that I think is really the only track like this in his discography. So that's my number 8.
I agree with that. It's a wonderful song. It's definitely has caught the tear in my eye maybe once or twice, but it is a wonderful song. But all right, I will now, since you guys don't believe I share, I will let
sharing is caring.
You don't play well with others, yeah.
Apparently I don't.
Oh, so our number 8 is Only Angel. And I have like a really fun, just like a nice history with this song, because like it was his opener song for like his last tour, and it's just like a song that you can just like blast in the car, and it's just like an all around fun, upbeat, dancing song, and I just really like it. Yeah,
that is true. It is just one of those like just fun overall like jams that you throw on and you're like, I feel really good, which in today's society is a really good thing. So,
so you're saying go home and listen to this song, basically.
I'd say
if you want to have a good night, listen to this one.
I'd tell you to go home and listen to all 10 of mine all 10 of ours.
Wow.
I knew that was going to happen as soon as I did that. I'm sorry. I would tell you to go listen to all 10 of ours and all 10 of Gabby's, because they are wonderful tracks.
Don't listen to Falling if you want to have fun.
Okay.
But listen to Falling when you're like in a mood and you just want to be staring at the ceiling.
Watch the video for it. The
Yeah.
video is
spot on. All right, we are now into number 7.
Which is hilariously on my list, Only Angel.
Wow.
So, I love this song. This is Harry's like horny album. Like he's really horny on this album. This is on self-titled. I'm not sure where it falls in the track list because I'm not looking at it.
No wonder
right
him
now.
and Olivia Wilde got together. Makes sense.
Which is actually, I would argue even that like he's more horny on Harry's House, but like this is such a, you know.
I mean, if I was living with Olivia Wilde,
I'd
be horny too, in fairness.
Yeah, fair enough. Like he was still like on One Direction, like they still got into a more mature sound, but then Harry's self-titled really just like kicked the door down, and you got to see like all of him, like even the album art, you know, he's like crying in a bathtub and he's like bare back and like the beaded water on the back. It really sets a stage. But this song rocks. Like the guitar is awesome. He has pipes. I speak very highly of this song. I love it.
Love that. Alrighty. Let's get into our number 7.
So kind of piggybacking off like the Only Angel kind of vibe, Kiwi. I like this song. I did not like it at first just because of like the sound of it, but once you like really listen to it and just like let it go over you, like it's just a rock out song. And my friend and I, like, she's always like, oh, what track number is it? What track? And like we're just driving down in the middle of the night, like going down the road, blasting the song, just screaming at the top of our lungs.
I personally think this is probably one of the horniest songs I've ever listened to.
Oh, that is so horny.
I mean, you guys don't know, but like the chorus is, I'm having your baby. And I'm like, whoa, like this is like crazy. I mean, she plays it, I don't want to say nonstop, but like every time, like she'll be like, can I throw on some of my music? And I'll be like, yeah. And this will be like almost the first song that comes on like almost every time. And she'll just be like, you always like do that like little like dark back look as soon as it starts.
Her playlist doesn't shuffle. It's understandable.
I listened to this and I said, this is where I was getting at, like, well, this is he's not a boy anymore. Like Harry is
He's not
moving
a boy
up
anymore.
in the ranks.
He's a man, a big, strong man.
But yes, our number 7 is Kiwi, which leads us to Gabby's number 6.
My number 6 is Two Ghosts, also off of Self-Titled. This is like a more emotional song for me, and I really think that it's the first song you hear on Self-Titled that really speaks to his songwriting ability. And like, he wrote songs for One Direction, he's written songs for other artists, and this song really just cuts deep for me. It's not quite as sad because it's not instrumentally sad. It's still got the guitars and there's a drum to it, but you know, he's talking about two people who they used to be like super close, and now they're standing in the spaces where now there's two ghosts where they used to be. It's just such a good song. I have like, I don't know, not a lot of eloquent thoughts on it, but I definitely recommend it as a listen.
I feel like when you were talking like in the spaces, there should have been like little like violins just playing during that
Start
description.
tearing up a little bit.
So, I know this really is the world's smallest violin. I love that. We thought about that one long and hard, I would say, because that was more of the line of like, is it going to be on here or is it not? I love the song though. Like it is wonderful. Our number 6, I knew she was going to want to put it on here, but I campaigned for it to be on. It is Golden at number 6. This is this straight up, like, when I think of like, almost like not a sad summertime vibe, but like it's in that mix of like, you don't really know which way it's going to go because of like the way the song starts, or I should say when the first verse hits. But as soon as that chorus hits, like, you're so golden, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Like, man, I go to another dimension when I hear this song. Like, I'm not even focused on anything else.
Is it the Shadow Realm? I bet it's the Shadow Realm.
No, Jimmy Neutron's dad, Hugh, did not send me to the Shadow Realm yet, so I can't quote on it. Send you to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo. You know,
I mean, I was referencing Yu-Gi-Oh, but yeah, whatever.
It's a meme, Greg. I know. You're a little older.
The circle of friendship.
We'll talk about it when you're
Yeah.
ready. But yes, our number 6 is Golden.
That's a music video watch too.
Yes.
It really sets a scene, sets a tone. I love that song. It's not in my top 10, but it is a fantastic song.
Then we lead to your number 5. We're halfway through now.
We already talked about my number 5. It is Kiwi. This is like the rock star song to me, which like, it's also, yes, it is like a horny song, but I can't separate this song from like an arena full of people and him just like being Mick Jagger. Like, this is like his rock star moment to me. And it is like, especially like even with the lyrical content, it's like, you know, he's being accused of having an affair with a woman who now he's, pregnant with a baby. I know there's a lot of other meanings that people take from this song. That's the one I'm sticking with. And it's just it's so dramatic and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's like we said, we've said our feelings on Kiwi. I love it. It's when we talk about how much I love rock music and how that progression works. I thought when I heard this song, I said, yeah, let's go. More of this, Harry. Let's go. Our number 5, strictly from the Harry's House album. Number 5 for us is Late Night Talking. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about this one. I freaking love this song. And as far as I'm aware, I think it might be the second most streamed song from him on this album, which I love. Again, still on number 5, but still good. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything to add? I love this song.
I haven't really listened to the album enough times to like the new one, but I've heard this one just a handful of times and I just like it right off the bat. But lyrically, I can't really speak on or anything, but just the first listen, it's definitely it catches your attention.
It's one that you're gonna go back and listen to over and over.
Yeah, definitely. Because you have As It Was, that was the critically acclaimed jump from this album, and then I think this one, it really sinks in as that silver medal runner-up. At least, like I said, I've listened to it quite a few times, but I need to listen to it more. It might, this Gabby, stuff changes all the time with how albums and everything, with how we dissect music. So, but for me, it is probably one of the better ones off this album. I really enjoy it.
I went to fact check you, and I'm shocked that you're right. It is the second most streamed song on that album. Not that I was doubting your facts, but I was more just really, because that's not the one I gravitate to the most. Though I do love it. I love it's so 70s, straight out of the 70s.
Yeah.
I can picture choreography at a concert with him, them just doing a little disco move with it. It fits the outfit, it fits the album cover. It's a great song.
Oh yeah. What do you got at number 4?
Okay, also off of Harry's House. I'm curious if this is gonna make your list now. I'm not sure because we're getting up there, but my number 4 is Music for a Sushi Restaurant. That bass line, so groovy. The song is the lyrics are really hot. I can't believe he's out here on the first track on the album saying that he's gonna cook an egg on someone because they're so hot at the sushi restaurant. And it
what a lyric.
Oh my god, it's so good. And every time it starts with the little do 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 do, I feel like I can giddy into the room. And I know that whenever I hear the song either live or at a party, because it hasn't happened yet, I'm just gonna go feral. I'm so excited. It's going to be the most absurd. I have a playlist and I haven't added this to it yet. Best Song Ever is on it, but it's songs that I would that you should be fearful if this song comes on in public and I'm there, because I will kick the door down to whatever the establishment is.
It's like Shania Twain again, apparently.
Yeah.
And I feel like a woman is also on the playlist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Music for a Sushi Restaurant is my number 4.
I love that. Yeah, I had to backtrack to I know this is the opening song, and yeah, it's a really good one. The bass, not a lot of people are oh, I love that bass line and everything, but yes, that's one of the first things I gravitated to. I was oh man, that bass is freaking nuts.
All encompassing. He does the scream, which he doesn't really do in a lot of his solo work. He does the which he did a lot in the One Direction days. There's got a horn section. He's scatting. The bass line, like I said, it really hits a lot of points for me. So
we love the points. All right, well, let's try and get up on the points, hon. Our number 4.
Plates Up. Which this is a very it's just talking, or it's a song about finally finding yourself and like recognizing like who you were then, but like not being afraid of like growing and like just becoming your own person. And it's just like a very much like this is who I am and I'm not ashamed of it. So it, like lyrically, it's very like, and plus it's just fun to like scream some of the lines.
I've heard those screams. They are gnarly, whether it is from him or her. So chances are if he's singing, she's singing in the background. So yeah, that is our number 4, Lights Up. Now, our top 3. This is where I think like the nitty gritty is gonna like come out. I'm excited. So Gabby, what do you have for number 3?
Okay, like I said, my rankings were just recently updated from the new album release, and I was shocked because Harry's House is not my favorite Harry album, but a lot of it cracked the top 10. And this is my last song from Harry's House in my top 10. Beating Music for a Sushi Restaurant is Daydreaming. I love this song. I think it is like an anthem. Again, with the horns and also his vocals on this song. He's just belting and it's super powerful for me. It's also just a super fun song. Like, I imagine this will be played at a lot of weddings, but not, you know, in the corny way where people, you know, like Happy by Pharrell or something, or like it's not a first dance song. It is like a song that even if you've never heard it before, I think will get almost everybody out on the dance floor at a wedding, even your older crowd.
Here. Come on, hey, we gotta go on to the Harry Styles.
It's Harry Styles.
It hits the same spot for me that Treat People with Kindness does.
I can follow that, yeah.
So that's my number 3. Love it.
All right. Our number 3, we've already touched on a little bit. Surprisingly, I was like, not like weirded out that it was a little lower for you, but ours is number 3 is Falling. That is one of the most, I don't want to say, it is up there for some of the most emotional just stuff that hits you when you're listening to a song. And you talk about it cuts right to the knife, man. Like I think you played this for me and I was like, okay, I need to go like sit in the shower and like cry, like with the rain, with like the water falling.
Jeez, man.
Like, hey, I'm telling you,
That's
you listen
sad.
to it. Yeah, I would say so. But yeah, that's definitely what I said. I was like, I need to go sit down in the shower and
That's what he was doing last week.
Makes
He
sense.
wasn't here.
Makes sense.
I was sitting down on something else. It wasn't the shower.
You were crying though. That's probably.
Probably. But yeah, that is our number 3 is Falling, and we get now into the top 2.
Oh my goodness. I'm really curious because we've had a lot of overlap so far that I'm wondering if you're just going to come out of left field with me on the top 2 or not.
We might.
My number 2 is Carolina.
Yeah, that's
it's like also such a rock banger from Harry Styles, self-titled. It really is so close to being number 1 for me. And it just really, I don't know, maybe it's the chorus and like the way he layers over the la 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 parts. And it's a rock anthem for me. And it's hot. That's my
yeah,
number 2.
we thought about a lot about Carolina. We were like, again, with like, you know, music from a sushi restaurant. This is another one where like, you know, these guys laugh at me all the time because they're like, well, it's not in the top 10, but it's number 11. I mean, that's literally the running joke. But those 2 that you mentioned, I mean, they're technically, I would say 11 and 12 because they're so like powerful to us and what they mean. So I can't fault you for putting that because we both like Carolina so much.
Yeah. We didn't talk about my number 11. We did talk about my number 12, which is Treat People with Kindness.
Yep. So
my number 11 is Meet Me in the Hallway, which is the opening track on the first album.
Right. Number 2 for us. Do you want to take this one? Because I know that you like. Shout out to you to remind you.
Oh yeah. Okay. So number 2 is Matilda, because I think, because it talks about like you can invite like friends to your party, but you don't have to invite your family. And it's just like the thing of just like realizing like who your real family is and becoming who you want to be and who you are. And I think just a lot of people can just like relate to that. And plus it just how it sounds is just very like you want to listen to all of it and listen to it more.
It was a very special surprise for us when we listened to it. Like when we just put it on, like you said, it was such a feeling of like knowing the close circle that you think maybe not be as close as you think, that you maybe want to branch out and just like push the ones that they think are your close. It's just a wonderful track. I very much appreciate what it does. Especially, you know, we talk about, you know, I said like Harry's House, you know, I say this over and over again, is number 5, and you say like it's not one of your favorites, but we find more of these songs leaking into our top 10. So I don't know if that's a maturing thing for us, Gabby, or like what the three of us are doing, but it's.
I think it's just like speaking towards the album versus the individual tracks, and they're all 3 very strong albums to me, but some albums are going to hit harder as a cohesive unit versus like this album still has a ton of really awesome tracks on it. And this is such a heartfelt song. I love that it references one of my favorite books, and for a lot of people their favorite movie from childhood, because Matilda is such a wonderful story and has like a really happy ending. And even when you're listening to this song, you can see that there's like a light at the end of the tunnel.
I like that. I like that a lot. And the grand finale, the number 1 Harry Styles song to Gabby is.
You already talked about it, and it's Lights Up, and it will always be Lights Up for me. I will be very surprised if something beats it later on, because Carolina can't beat it, even though it's so close. I love this song. Whenever it came out, it's the first single that came out of Fine Line, and wasn't really like a radio hit or anything, but it's just such a personal track for Harry. I thought the rollout was super cool. He put billboards out in London and a few other cities with the acronym for "Do You Know Who You Are," which is like the big line in there that hits for me. I thought about getting it tattooed. I don't have any tattoos, but I thought about getting, you know, like the "Do You Know Who You Are" tattooed in the font that it was in the advertisements. Not that I really want to get an advertisement tattooed on my body, but
product of commercial society.
I really think it's, and you guys talked about it too, where it's like it's a song about really figuring out who you are, but in his case, it's such a specific story too, where, you know, he's been in the spotlight since he was 16 years old, so he didn't really have the chance like a normal teenager, a normal young adult, to find his way in the world like the rest of us have. He's been thrust into the spotlight. He has millions of people following him and is performing in arenas. That's bound to warp your sense of self in a lot of ways, and he's been really grounded and balanced and like stayed a good person through all of that at such a young age. And I just really love the song. I really connect to it, even though it doesn't really have the same type of direct meaning for me. It really shines a light, pun intended, like onto, you know, who he is as a person, what kind of songs he can write, and how lots of people can connect to it in different ways. So
Love it.
Lights Up is my number 1.
Alrighty. I think our number 1 might shock, I think, the general public, because we haven't talked about it. And would you care for the honors to announce it?
So also with this one, it's just a very personal like connection to, just because it's just very vibrant in my mind. Like when I first listened to it, I was sitting in my car and I had like XM radio on, and I was like waiting. I was late for work and I have children coming in and I have to go so I can like supervise them. I'm sitting here listening to this song. And so Sign of the Times, just like, it's a super long song, and just the lyrics to it and the vibe And even just like the video, like he was from a helicopter, he was attached to it, he just like flew over the landscape. So just like the whole package, I think is just like a very epic song.
No, that was literally any notes that I had, either mental or physical. I think you touched on every single one of them. It's the meaning to it, the length that some people might go like, it's a long song. I know there are people that, not to say their attention span is bad, but like they graduate to more like quicker songs and everything. But like a longer song for me, and I'm assuming her too, it means longer meaning. And that's kind of what we felt on this one. Just, I know that her personal experiences with this definitely, shaped up and are like, oh, I feel that way too, kind of sometimes. Like, I get it. It's a wonderful feeling. So yeah, Sign of the Times is our number 1. Whew.
I don't think I've heard that one, so I'll have to check that one out.
Have you heard any of these, Bo?
I listened to Golden before the show, and that was a good one.
Okay. So we got one. Okay.
All the ones he probably knows weren't on our lists.
It's very true. Yeah, I'll give Vo the benefit of the doubt. He's a wonderful, wonderful person. So.
What about Greg? Does Greg know any of them?
I have no idea.
But you're the king of not knowing stuff. So
I have no idea. Like, I might have maybe like casually heard it on the radio or something, but like I could not tell you a song from a title if I did.
Well, there's your homework, gentlemen, for until next week, is to start jamming out to some Harry and give us some range of how you feel. So
I got music league stuff I gotta jam out to, but one at a time here.
A lot of stuff. That's true.
Yeah.
You guys were really good sports listening to us talk about this when you're like, I don't know.
We enjoy hearing different voices, unlike this kid every week, so it counts.
Okay. But as you all know, I said in the beginning, all these will be put up on our socials. A voting poll will come up to whether you can choose Bree and I's selections or you can choose Gabby's. Who will win? It's gonna be a shocker, I could say the least. I'm not sure. It's gonna be a tight race. I'll say that.
Feelings.
So, thank you to everyone that tuned in and watched. I know this may not have been your cup of tea, but it was surely the style of the episode. So, and
it was the first time
I'm
we
glad
had
that
5
you picked
people
up
on.
on both of those puns, though. So that's
Really?
nice.
First time we had 5 people on, right?
Would have thought we'd done it beforehand.
First what, Bo?
First time we had 5 people on. 2 guests.
Yeah, like I said, this is the first time we've had 2 guests. So it is a wonderful addition to the chapter of the RanKing's Court, episode 83, people.
Moving on up.
Moving up to try and claim that 100 spot. That needs to get
We should
there,
be able
so.
to. Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't.
I need to get a nice pillow for my back so I don't have to. By that time, I'll be like hunched over, like, Hunchback of Notre Dame or something. But like I said, thank you to all the viewers. Thank you to both Bree and Gabby for being on the show tonight. And right now, what we always do is we let the guests kind of plug anything that they might be doing, anything that we need to check out or do anything, check their status on things, whatever they need to do. So the floor is now open to you two to kind of talk about what's going on, in your lives or what you're doing.
Gosh, first, thank you so much for having me. I don't think it was in the actual recording of this episode. It might have been before we started, but I totally invited myself onto this episode. Austin and I and Bree were sitting at the table at Memorial Day yesterday, and he was like, Bree, are you down to do the Harry Styles episode tomorrow? And I was like, there's a Harry Styles episode tomorrow. And I am a big fan of this. Like, I haven't actually watched an episode, but I love your guys' socials. I love watching the clips. And so now I'm really excited to check out more content from, your guys' channel.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, oh my gosh, of course. Austin and I talk in depth about his rankings at family dinners.
And they don't go over well either there, I'm
not.
guessing, yeah.
Honestly, it's usually fine. It depends what it is, and also Ian is a very opinionated person,
Yeah.
so it depends on the topic for him and I too. But I actually have been starting to rank a bunch of different artists on my Spotify, and like all my favorites or some more notable artists. So I haven't gotten too far yet. I have ranked all of Harry's discography. It's not very long, so it was pretty easy. But
way to go, Austin. You infected your
Spotify.
family.
Yep.
What?
I said, way to go, Austin. You infected your family.
Why is this my?
Okay, that actually wasn't even his fault. We were doing our top 22 favorite songs of all time for New Year's Eve last year, and somebody, Ian, Austin's brother, is really into like them being in order. So maybe it's genetic. I don't know. But ever since I had to put my favorite songs of all time in order, I've been kind of trying to trickle that into other artists. So I did John Mayer, 1975. I did Ariana Grande because Rolling Stone did hers, and I thought it was egregious. It was so bad, so I had to fix one myself.
Naturally, what they do.
They did a Harry one too. You guys should look at it. I don't think it was terrible by any means, but just not, everyone's ranking is different.
Right.
So that's what
Some
I'm
opinions
going
are
to plug.
good.
And also check out Dynamic Character Productions if you like Survivor. That is Ian's channel, and I feel inclined to tell everyone about it because it keeps me from being in my living room where I'm recording right now, because he's usually recording in the living room. So
I keep telling the guys all the time that we need to get a Thoughts from the Bench Survivor League run by him, and because Derek's afraid to
that
do
would
it.
be a great collab. Derek's a huge fan of DCP.
I know, but he's afraid that if we do it, he's gonna get voted out first.
Well, Derek is a very charismatic person, so he's either gonna slide right through, and maybe I'm outing him now, so maybe this is not good for him either. Sorry, Derek. He's either gonna slide right through, or he's gonna get told people are gonna read him right away. I don't know which way it would go.
Well, I know Denny will do anything to save his skin, so he'll vote however the group wants to vote. So it will be interesting. I definitely could see whirlwinds of combinations of final threes and everything rolling. But yes, DCP, we've had people on here before. We had Alex on here for our post-draft day. I think that's what happened. Yeah, our post-draft day episode. Big Philadelphia Eagles fan. He was a real big sport, knowing that we're Steelers fans. So shout out to Alex and all that. And we've had Ian on the show twice. Talking about, I believe, Nintendo, and we talked about game shows, which was one of our first episodes, I want to say, guys. That was in the teens.
Yeah, and every episode is on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like this topic, you can always check out something else on there.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't like every topic, but yes.
Hey, you pick and choose.
That's very true. What an episode. I'm excited to declare it finally over. This is a wonderful
real quick though, Bree, do you have anything yourself that you would like to promote or plug while you are on here, since your other half was so rude to just chime that out completely?
No.
All right, cool.
But yes, again, all of our stuff is on socials. Follow us on that. We are here Tuesdays, every Tuesday, 6:30 on Twitch, as well as much of our Thoughts from the Bench productions that we all do. Check those out. Check DCP out. Check all of what we have talked about in this entire show out, because it's a marvelous show. And what Greg is going to do now, as he always does, Greg has the gavel. So at this time, finally, everyone, court is adjourned.
Court is adjourned.